the town has been adequately warned by the language in Article 16 about a motion which appears on its surface to go beyond the four corners of the article by referencing Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, and setting a maximum expenditure level, which is not mentioned in the article. Town Council advises me that the article is being presented to us pursuant to various provisions of general law, including the ones that I mentioned here. And the chair is grappling with the question as to whether anybody would have stayed home, would have come to the meeting who actually stayed home, knowing what the motion was going to be. And based on that, the chair will rule the motion in order and allow us to proceed. The motion, for the benefit of those of you in the hall as well as those of you on television, is to reauthorize the Conservation Revolving Fund as voted in Article 20, Revolving Funds, Wetlands Protection, at the April 1992 town meeting, 11 years ago, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, and to set the maximum expenditure for fiscal 2004 at $100,000, as specified in Article 16 as printed in the warrant, and that any wetland filing fees collected be deposited into said fund and expended to meet the expenses of the Conservation Commission's programs. On the motion, does the Finance Committee have a recommendation? Mr. Kazatsa.
Finance Committee recommend.
Does the Board of Selectmen have a recommendation? Mr. Vino.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Board of Selectmen recommend.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. On the motion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Unanimous. Article 17. Mr. Murphy. A brief recess. Mr. Murphy advises me that similar language will be used in the other revolving fund article with which we are dealing, which is, I guess, 3 or 4 additional articles. Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Moderator, I move to consider Article 18 out of sequence for the following reason. Article 18 is an amendment of last year's authorization. We need to dispense with that before we address the authorization for FY04. So we need to take Article 18 out of order.
Motion is to take Article 18 out of order. This is, requires a 4/5 vote of town meeting. Seeing as that Article 18 is immediately following the next article, it should be a fairly simple matter to deal with. On the motion to take Article 18 out of order at this time, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Moderator,
18.
Mr. Moderator, I move to amend Article 15 of the April 1st, 2002 town meeting warrant to authorize the establishment of the Parks and Recreation Revolving Fund in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, and to set the maximum expenditure for FY 2003 at $214,122 for such purposes as specified in Article 18 as printed in the warrant, and that any fees collected be deposited into said fund and expended to meet the expenses of the Parks and Recreation Commission's programs.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Does the Finance Committee have a recommendation? Mr. Matascusa.
Mr. Moderator, the Finance Committee recommends.
Does the Board of Selectmen have a recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Board of Selectmen will recommend the original amount for the body's understanding was $250,000. That was in excess of the amount allowed by law. The amount allowed by law was 1% of the total tax levy. So we need to amend this amount down to $214,100. Thank you.
Okay, so this is basically changing the act. Obviously, we cannot go and amend an article of a previous town meeting. But what we're doing is we are changing the action that was taken by the April 1st, 2002 April town meeting by changing the ceiling. Is there any further discussion? Mrs. Lewis.
Lolly Lewis, 279 Elm Street. I just have a question. Does this include the 4th of July expenditure?
Mr. Murphy.
No, it does not.
One other question, I'm sorry. Where would that be included then for this coming year?
The 4th of July event is a private event for the town to use. Those funds are raised by the 4th of July committee, and they're looking for volunteers.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. On the motion under Article 18, proposing to change the limit for the Parks and Recreation Revolving Fund to $214,122. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Unanimous. Article 17.
Mr. Moderator, I move to reauthorize the Parks and Recreation Revolving Fund originally authorized under Article 22 of the October 1997 town meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, and to set the maximum expenditure for FY 2004 of $222,953 as specified in Article 17 as printed in the warrant, and that any fees collected be deposited into said fund and expended to meet the expenses of Parks and Recreation Commission programs.
Same story on Article 17 as we've had on Article 16. And the limit now is $222,953. Does the Finance Committee have a recommendation? Mr. Matascusa.
Mr. Moderator, the Finance Committee recommends.
Does the Board of Selectmen have a recommendation? Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Moderator, the Board of Selectmen recommends that that limit is the allowed limit by law.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Unanimous. Article 19.
Mr. Moderator. Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Murphy, go ahead. You have the floor.
Question on the floor, Mr.
Mr.
Moderator.
Moderator, I move to reconsider Article 15, please. Before it repeats.
Okay, since we are doing articles so far, the motion is to reconsider Article 15. On the motion to reconsider Article 15. Could you please spell your name for me, sir?
It's Stephen O'Sullivan. S-T-E-P-H-E-N.
S-E...
S-T-E-P-H-E-N. Stephen.
S-T-E-H...
S-T-E-P-H-E-N. Stephen.
E-H-E-N.
O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan, okay. Now, if I can only get my pen to write, it'll be all set. Mr. O'Sullivan, Article 15. Just so there be no confusion, Chair will read the bylaw on reconsideration. I don't have my big book of bylaws with me, which is up to date, but Section 172.11, reconsideration. A motion for reconsideration of any article or portion thereof shall be considered by the meeting but once. No article or portion thereof may be reconsidered except at the session during which the original article or portion thereof is placed before the meeting for action. No article or portion thereof having once been disposed of by the meeting shall be reconsidered except by an affirmative vote of 2/3 majority of those present and voting. So the motion to reconsider is before us properly. It must be if it is to be adopted, it must be adopted by 2/3 of those present and voting. And once it has been either adopted or voted down, it cannot be considered again. On the motion to reconsider Article 15, is there any discussion?
Steve O'Sullivan, 4 Pleasant Street. I just want to ensure that it doesn't come up again and doesn't get overridden, so that's why this is being done. So anyone who voted in favor of the modulars, vote no on this, correct?
It doesn't make any difference. Either way, I mean, if you vote in the majority to reconsider, then the whole thing starts all over again. But if you vote not to reconsider, then as Mr. O'Sullivan said, it's over. You can't reconsider it again. Yes, Ms. Mullen.
Decide to reconsider, I have a trailer for sale.
I don't know if everybody can appreciate Ms. Mullen's humor, but it takes some fortitude for her to say what she just did. Any further discussion on the motion to reconsider? On the motion to reconsider, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed? No. The motion to reconsider is lost unanimously, but it cannot be reconsidered. Okay, we are now back to Article 19. Mr. Murphy, thank you very much for your patience.
Mr. Moderator, I move to reauthorize the executive promotion involving the account originally authorized under Article 12 of the April 1995 town meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E, 1 half, to set